Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Lupo's Cinema Symposium. I am here, your host, Uptown Lupo 420. I don't know a lot of movies, so in order to help me on this journey, I enlisted the help of my two friends, Christian and Rob, who are huge movie buffs. And Christian, we watched a movie. You want to tell us about it?
We did, I sure can. All right. Based on the 1971 book by journalist Hunter S. Thompson, this 1998 film is directed by Monty Python's Terry Gilliam. Gilliam believed the original text was a seminal work that reflected the mindset of a generation. Other films, such as the 1980s Where the Buffalo Roam, tried to adapt the novel, but ultimately fell flat. This is a story wrapped in surreal and disorienting cinematography, capturing the essence of the fragmented and trippy piece of literature. Johnny Depp stars as Raoul Duke, who is an insert for Thompson, while Benicio del Toro plays Dr. Gonzo. The film covers the pair's drug-induced escapades in Las Vegas that devolves into paranoid and humorous hallucinations. It is a one-of-a-kind film that begins with, "We were somewhere around Barstow, at the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold." Without further ado, this is Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Big claps, big
I'm
claps.
clapping.
Beautiful.
That was good.
That was good.
Thanks, fellas.
So I forget. Do we do our ratings first?
Yes.
Okay. You go ahead, Christian. You did the intro.
I am going to give this movie 4 out of 5 stars.
I'll go next, and Jim can go last because I already know how Jim feels. So, full disclosure, this was my suggestion. This is like one of my favorite movies ever. I'm giving it a 5 out of 5, but I'm giving it that knowing I know it's not for everyone. I kind of figured there was a chance. It's about a 50-50 chance whether Jim would like this movie.
It's a pretty polarizing movie.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. I gave it 2 stars.
Oh God! God!
You know,
Kill me.
it's very interesting. If we were to, I kind of want to go through like the Marvel universe, like the alternating timelines, and pluck myself, or I started this movie first in like the podcast, and see what he would have had to say, because I feel like the whole point of this podcast is that I watch movies and try and like become more cultured and be able to casually mention quotes in conversation with friends. So like I'm starting to look at themes and starting to ask myself, like what is this movie trying to tell me? And I feel like if I had watched this movie first, I really would have enjoyed it because it's just like it's just kind of like a story. Like it just kind of happens. Like things just are just because. Or maybe it's because I'm just not 2,000 IQ and can't obtain the like far deeper concepts it's trying to tell me. But like I don't know. I thought to myself, what is this movie trying to tell me? As an entire room of people in a casino just start turning into lizard people and writhe on the floor.
I'm struggling. Go ahead, keep going. I'm struggling through this, but keep going.
Maybe it's because I've never done psychedelics, and if I've done psychedelics, I'd have been able to relate more and be like, literally, the floor has turned into a living like snake or something. I found for a good bit of the movie, I didn't realize that was Johnny Depp. I just thought it sounded a lot like Captain Jack Sparrow. And I was like, maybe that's where he got it, because the only time I've seen Jack Sparrow in like, I guess Johnny Depp, I'm so sorry. Johnny Depp in like normal clothes was post, Pirates of the Caribbean. And I don't know, maybe he's always just had an obscene amount of accessories that makes him very flamboyant. Or he was just always like that. I'm not really too sure. But I was like, oh, wow, that's him. I thought his performance was interesting. It's all very interesting. It's like, I don't want to keep ranting, but it's like the first 30 minutes of the movie I found enjoyable because the premise and jokes and yada yada I found like wacky and goofy and fun. But it's like a bad, I don't know, the movie is like a bad stand-up where you tell a joke and it like runs its course, and then it kind of becomes a bad joke, and then they just keep doing it, and that's the entire movie.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna let Rob go first on
Oh
this.
my god.
So I
On
just
this
missed.
response.
I just missed
Dude,
all of it, did I?
I don't even know where to start. Like, so here's the thing. I get what you're saying, and I don't blame you for feeling that way. Because, like, I get it. I get it. But I will say the one thing you're definitely wrong about, but I also, again, I understand why you didn't see it that way. There definitely is more to the movie. But it's not just a strict, like, basic story. Like, there are themes, and, like, it's trying to say something about, like, like late '60s, like America and just America in general, like all this, and like, but we can get into that later. But so there is more to the movie than that. But I get why you didn't necessarily see that, because it's not really direct. The whole movie's a little bit like abstract and absurd and like all these things. So it's like, but that's part of why I like the movie. It's not so in your face about like it's there's layers to the movie that like I feel like this movie um stimulates me on many levels visually first and foremost. Like I think the lighting, the framing, the staging, like like everything with that Gilliam does with this movie, I love. Like I think this script is like a perfect pairing with him, because a lot of his movies, like movie is, are very weird. Sometimes to a fault, sometimes not. Sometimes that's like what I love about him. But this like strikes a perfect balance because the material is weird, but it's weird in a way that's grounded. That like the drug angle kind of gives it this groundedness, because we all know, you know, or a lot of people know what that kind of does, and like visually, it's like a language. So um, on that level, I love it. I think it's like a perfect pairing for him. And then, just the story, the characters, I love it in that way. I found that just on a basic level, really interesting. I love the characters. I think Johnny Depp in this movie is like one of the great performances of all time. And like Jimmy not knowing it's Johnny Depp, to me, that's a testament to him as a character, because it is like he is unrecognizable like in a lot of ways. Um, like not so much like obviously like he looks like himself, but like it's almost like his energy is like so he's like a maniac. And also Benicio del Toro in this movie is awesome. He's so funny. In a way that like just not a lot of characters are. Like it's just such a specific thing he does. But then like kind of the opposite of what Jimmy's saying, I do feel like there's this extra layer of like a deeper theme to the movie, that is kind of passively like engaging me the entire time, and that's why I just feel like it's so satisfying to me on so many levels that um, I just immediately love this movie. Like I loved it. Like I don't know, I just loved it. Like it I feel like it really is one of those movies where in the first 10 minutes you're either on board or you're not, and like if you are, you're probably gonna fucking love the movie. If you're not, it's just not your kind of movie, which is fine. Like there's a lot of movies where like I get what they're trying to say, or like if there's something deeper to it, I get it, but I still don't really fuck with the movie. Like it's not like
Right.
my kind of movie. Which so like that's fine. Like that's just a part of watching movies. So I get what you're saying, Jim. But I will argue there is definitely a lot more to the movie. Even though it portrays itself as very wacky and silly, it is also like more than that to me.
I
But
have a point here.
yeah,
So, like you're saying, it's like a wacky, silly movie on the surface. I really like that and this might be a weird thing to say that I like about this movie, but I really like how deeply, deeply cynical this movie actually is.
Yeah, me
If,
too.
if
That's like
that
a
makes
big
sense.
thing. No, it does. Yeah, that's like one of the things I think that makes me gravitate towards it so much.
Like even in the
It
beginning,
manages.
before you get into it, like Johnny Depp, or Raoul Duke, the character, is like already like very disillusioned with like how the country is going and how life is in the modern era, the 70s.
Yeah,
Um, but then you also get like, and you get characters that are really, really exaggerated, right? To kind of play on that cynicism. Like this is how he is seeing these people, and it's off-putting and it's kind of frightening, um, and it's bleak at times. But then you also obviously like this movie does deal a lot with drugs, right? And you're also kind of getting that secondary um, kind of downer theme where you're like, hey, this is like we had fun in the first half of the movie, but this is the reality of drugs. Um, I don't know. I think it plays with a lot. I think it plays with a lot of themes really well in a nuanced way.
yeah. I was thinking like back to what like kind of what you were saying. I just feel like it manages to be so fun and energetic, but at the same time, like the material itself is like super super like cynical and sad. Honestly, it's
Heavy,
like
yeah.
sad. Yeah, it's like
Like the diner
the
scene is really what I think of.
Yeah.
yeah the movie starts with like that quote. I had it written down. Hold on. He who makes a beast of himself gets rid of the pain of being a man. Like that tells you right there in the first like 2 seconds of the movie. Like this is sad. This is a sad movie, but really it's not at the same time. So like you can engage with it and not be like it's still fun. Like it's still fun for me to watch. Like I laugh. Like this movie makes me laugh like crazy. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Um, but yeah, it is. It does have those layers to it that I love them. And then I why we all also the other thing is we watch this together. This is the first movie we all watched
Yeah, that
together.
all three of us
And
watch together.
the first scene is so good, but like first of all, when he's like seeing like the bats, I feel like it was so funny to watch that together because we all like were cracking up at that.
Yeah.
Where I don't know, you guys remember that? Like he
Yeah.
sees the
Yeah.
bats and he's like, yeah. And
We
then
can't stop
Toby
here.
Maguire shows up out of nowhere, and I felt like I was waiting for that because that was like such a freaky moment when I first watched it. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I was so
Totally
happy.
Why is
Maguire.
yeah. But the other thing about this movie is that's kind of weird is so like this came out in 1998, but this movie does not feel like a movie. Like I feel like all of Terry Gilliam's movies feel like they came out a decade before they or a decade before they did. Like this feels like an 80s movie to me.
It does.
Um
Yeah.
yeah.
I would have never guessed.
Like this came out when you think about how this came out a year before The Matrix, if you were to watch them back to back, like it's like he's like you know, in a whole he's just in a whole different thing. He's his own thing. Like he really is like in an isolated space of like his movies are like not like other. It's kind of like David Lynch. It's that same way, like
Rest in
where
peace.
they're kind of holding their own area. Nobody really makes anything like them, for better or for worse.
Speaking of what, so, I mean, we might as well talk about it since it brought up. David Lynch died. What movies did he direct?
So I'm not. David Lynch is like my biggest blind spot. The only movies I've seen of David Lynch are Eraserhead and the monkey one where he interviews the monkey, and
Oh,
that's a good
really,
movie.
man? That's kind
Yeah,
of that kind of
it's
sucks.
been on purpose. No, but like I like it's kind of on purpose because like I want to kind of I've always been planning to kind of knock them all out at once, because
His
I feel like
movies
he has a very
feel
distinct style.
his movies feel the same way playing New Vegas feels. I
Oh, really?
like you don't get that vibe, but you know what I mean. You're like, this is a very
Yeah,
like kitschy, one of a kind, quirky thing.
I know what you mean.
Um,
Yeah,
like I love Blue Velvet. I think it's like the weirdest, craziest movie ever made. Um, he's very in line with noir a lot of the times, but while he's doing that, he's also very much doing his own thing within that kind of noir style. Like Blue Velvet, Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks, they're all very, influenced by like a hard boiled detective kind of thing going on, without being a cookie cutter uh, detective movie, if that makes sense. I don't know. He's got a very interesting voice. He's a fucking weirdo, and that's why I like him.
yeah. That's kind of. I mean, it kind of is in a way. It's like,
Terry
um,
Gilliam.
yeah. I mean, that's how I feel about Terry Gilliam. That's like my weirdo guy. I feel like his movies speak to me in a way. Like I really love Brazil too.
I mean, I
Um,
think Life of Brian is like one of my favorite movies ever made.
yeah.
Hmm.
I did watch, although one Terry Gilliam movie I watched. I saw Time Bandits,
Ah,
which there's a very specific group of people that's like their favorite movie. Like I talked to a guy. This is super off topic, but I talked to a guy. I was in Mobile, and he was driving me to the airport, and he talked to me for like the whole ride, 30-minute drive, about how much he loved Time Bandits, and he went to the theater in the '80s or whatever to see Time Bandits in theater. He had no idea what it was, and he had a fucking awesome time. It was great.
you hear that a
Um,
lot with
yeah,
those like style of '80s kids movies.
yeah,
Like the
but
two
like
that come to mind are
that
like
movie,
Gremlins, The Princess
yeah,
Bride, like The Never Ending Story, Time Bandits. Like they're just cherished.
yeah. But Time Bandits for me, that's the one Gilliam movie. I'm like, I don't know, man. You might have missed the mark a little bit on that one, but yeah,
It's
it's a little
strange.
too weird. It's a little too weird for me.
The midget, what's his name?
I don't remember. But it is such a strange movie. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like this is like the perfect matchup of material to his direction. Like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like the alternative, like the opposite of that would for me is Time Bandits, where it's just like this is such a mismatch of style. I feel like that don't really work, but that's also I think why it's kind of interesting. It is so like off,
yeah.
off kilter. But
David Lynch can feel like that, especially like the first watch. Um, I don't think he's a director, unlike Terry Gilliam, that like most people fall in love with immediately.
yeah, I
It
had
takes
that with
time.
I had that with Eraserhead. I didn't. Eraserhead was shouldn't have been the first movie of his I watched, but it
Yeah,
was,
Jesus.
and
That's
it's
like
so weird.
that's like going from milk to black coffee. Like
Yeah, yeah. So,
there's no in
yeah,
between.
Jim, that's what I recommend. Don't watch Eraserhead first.
There you
Eraserhead's
go.
like his weird, like, uh, you know, weird movie.
But more on Fear and Loathing. So the reason I give this movie a 4,
Mhm.
um, the movie does something which I do think is intentional and I do think makes sense, but unfortunately for me, it isn't my favorite. The second half of the movie um, gets real slow for me, and that's the only reason it's not a 5 out of 5 for me. Is just because I don't know. It's okay to be slow, but I feel like that level of engagement just isn't there for me in the movie. On the second half.
Like basically right after they wake up from the first like night at the hotel or whatever.
Yeah, when he wakes up,
Like
like in
and
the
the
hotel's covered
room is
in water and
flooded. Yeah.
destroyed. Yeah, I like the things that they're doing, and I mean, to be fair, like they just they're on a huge drug binge, and I appreciate the contrast between like the binge and the come down, and
Hmm.
I think it's done really well. But like I don't know, just the pacing of that to me is a little slow for my liking.
I get that.
Yeah,
I think what I liked about it was exactly what you're saying. I do feel like it, like, the whole movie portrays like Trip in a really like relatable way. I feel like that whole um just the trip itself, but then like the come down and like I actually have it on right now. I'm looking at it. It's just like the other thing I like about this movie, like a lot. Like I think it's like part of what makes it so special is like how good Gilliam is at like playing with perspective in this movie. Like in so many ways. Like again with like framing and like, but even perspective in the story. I just I just love it so much, man. I feel like yeah, the second half is definitely slower than the first half. The first half is like um perfect. I might be like overrating the movie because of how much I love the first half.
Right.
Because the second half I feel like does just enough to like finish it up for me. But I don't know. I to me I just think it's like there is no I've never seen a movie like this, like ever, like
There
still to this
there
day.
isn't another movie like
Yeah,
this.
people will like could like have tried to make stuff kind of crazy like this, but nothing is like this. Like
Right. No,
there's
the thing I can think of that like I think tried to be this was Natural Born Killers.
which I hated, by the
I
way. I
don't like
hate
that
that
movie at
movie.
all. Jimmy, we'll
Yeah,
never
I
watch
hate
that.
that movie. No, I've tried to watch it 4 times. 4 times. It's
But
so bad,
it's
man.
trying to do the same thing,
Yeah,
but without a reason to, and it's just like I don't know. It never caught the same vibe for me.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know, Jim. I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts on like what
What went
like does
wrong?
anything we're saying ring true to you at all, or do you kind of feel like it's like no, like we're fucking off base?
I feel like if I watch the movie again, now that I know that like the and like analyzing and looking for the more like deeper themes of stuff like that, I could probably pick it up, and it might be I might understand the film better. I don't think I would necessarily. Hmm.
It's okay to not like this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
so.
fine.
That's the other thing. It's so specific. I feel like, and that's I really appreciate stuff that can be specific like this because it's not for everyone. Like I feel like you really have to like have this kind of sense of humor. I feel like if it's not your sense of humor, you're going to be really bored. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so like what you were saying, or like at the beginning, like it was like the same joke over and over again. That's kind of funny you said that because, and again, I know you're like, but yeah. So what? It's funny you said that because it is like part of the experience of being like on. I've been on mushrooms before, and like my experience with that was literally that. It was we kept telling the same jokes over and over again, and
Right.
it just kept getting funnier and funnier. And that's almost what the movie does. And but like for me, which is different than you, to me, it was getting funnier and funnier. It kept being funny. Like it didn't matter like how many times, and I've seen it like four or
it
five
it
times now.
feels like two high people talking to each other.
Yeah, and like I still laugh at it. It's like still so funny to me. And especially Benicio del Toro, like he is so funny, and like he does not get credit for that. He's like everyone knows him as like the guy from Sicario, Usual Suspects, really serious. He's so funny. He's like one of the funniest people ever in this movie. And it's all like physical, like little deep, like little subtle physical things he does, and like delivery. It's so funny. Um, like I love when they answer the door and the photographer's there, and
Mhm.
he's like holding. He doesn't even know who's at the door yet. He's holding the gun up to the door like it's going to be
Yeah.
some like CIA agent and everything. I also like. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit because I'm kind of like trying to figure out what I'm my
Talking
thoughts
about?
here. Yeah, but back to the perspective thing, like playing with the perspective, like um that one of the things I liked again with the whole like they're tripping, it's trying to portray it portrays accurately like a trip and like being on drugs and stuff like that. So the whole when they're checking into the lobby, I love how it's like in that whole sequence up until they get into the room, like if you're watching like closely, like you'll see Benicio del Toro kind of walks up to check in with like this other couple and he's like yelling at the lady, but you don't hear anything because you're all in Johnny Depp's world. Like you're only hearing his character's thoughts and like he's like super like so there's a lot of stuff in the background that happens that if you pay like you're looking, you can kind of see things and then all of a sudden he disappears from the scene. You see a wide shot of the room, he's not in the room. And Johnny Depp's like checking in now, and then all of a sudden he's next to Johnny Depp. And then they get up in the room after being in the bar, like Jimmy was saying, with the reptiles and stuff. And Benicio del Toro starts yelling at him about something that like we did not see happen at all. So like all that kind of weird stuff, I just think is like really cool. And it's a very creative way to like almost unsettle you, but it's also very funny. But it is like it's like an unsettling, like a unreliable narrator.
It's disorienting as fuck.
Yeah, yeah, and it kind of puts you in that state of mind that they're in to be on drugs. You know, like
I don't know. I I mean, I've never done mushrooms, so I can't. I'm not saying I don't know to like
and
your opinion.
yeah, I didn't want to be like I don't think it's that kind of movie. Like I don't feel like you have to have that experience to really feel that way. But it just is
relatable if you had.
Right. It felt true to my experience. Like it felt like it added a little bit of that texture to it.
We've been talking about this for basically like 30 minutes now, and there's basically when the movie came out, I'm not glazing. I'm what do you call it? Skimming the Wikipedia under the critical response. He basically says like exactly what we're kind of talking about here. He's like, I want it to be seen as one of the greatest movies of all time and one of the most hated movies of all time.
I
And
think
it's kind of perfect because that's exactly like you read some of the reviews and they're like it's it's creative but it's repetitive and aimless, or some people are like, dude, this is fucking awesome.
Well, it's supposed to be aimless, I think.
Yeah.
You know, like
well, some people view that in like a maybe again, this is all kind of like I would view it as aimless in a bad way. Meanwhile, I'm assuming that you guys to an extent would say like, well, it's aimless, but that's like a good thing.
That's part of the appeal for me.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just on this like trip with these two guys.
One toke over the line.
Yeah.
You poor bastard. God, that's like that's
just
the thing.
The
There's so many
freak
good, like
kingdom.
one-liners in this movie.
Yeah.
It almost makes me want to not listen. It makes me almost want to read like whatever magazine that guy is covering.
Well, this
Rolling
is based
Stone.
on a book.
Yeah, it's
a Hunter S. Thompson book. So
okay, here you go.
The writer
I got a deep cut. Okay, what
you guys
other
didn't listen
movie?
to my intro very well.
That's true. What other movie talks about
I think Christian said it. Isn't it the one you said in the intro? The Buffalo one?
No.
I mean, Where the Buffalo Roam, The Rum Diaries.
No.
Is a Hunter S. Thompson movie.
It's about the movie is about like a dude writing a Rolling Stone article about a band.
Oh, Almost Famous.
There you go. I saw that. Good movie. I'm referencing things.
Yeah, it is. It
I
is
saw
very
that one
good.
on my own. Haha.
I fucking love Almost Famous.
Real cinephile.
Who's isn't like Russell Brand or whatever is the
Oh my god, no. He's not in the movie.
There's like somebody who's like the lead actor.
Kate Hudson?
No, the I meant like the person that is the leader of the band. That actor.
What's his name?
Jason Lee.
No, is he?
almost.
It's
Can't spell.
what's his name? Fuck.
Famous film.
Billy Crudup.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank
Jason
you.
Lee is in it. He is in it though.
Yeah,
I
Jason
didn't
Lee's in
know
the
for some
band.
reason. I couldn't
Philip
remember.
Seymour Hoffman.
Yep. Kate
He's
Hudson.
in
There's
the
a lot of
movie. Oh, he
Zoe
is in the
Deschanel.
movie. That's right. That's right. He is in the movie.
Zoe Deschanel has
Jimmy
my favorite
Fallon's
line in
in it?
that whole movie,
What did she say?
where she's like playing the album for Frances McDormand, and she's like, "This, it's Simon and Garfunkel," and she's like, "This explains why I'm running away from home to become a stewardess." It just gets me every fucking time. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Wow. Did not make its money back in the office.
I'm not
Just
surprised.
like Fear
It
and
was an indie
Loathing in Las Vegas. It was considered a financial fail.
And a critical failure. This is a literal definition of like a cult movie.
Mm,
Like this is
Yeah,
a cult
it
classic.
is.
damn. Maybe we could start talking about the financials of Hollywood, but like a movie made in 1998 only had a budget of $18 million.
I
Well,
know.
there's a movie that
First
recently
movie's
flopped
like that
really
now.
hard that made me laugh.
Did I send that in the we have a little group chat. Didn't I send a meme where it was like, oh, here it is. A24 was able to make 16 movies in 2024 with the same budget that Red One had.
Oh yeah. What
And
movie are you
fucking
talking about, Christian?
65 million
Better
was The
Man.
Rock.
Oh yeah, that did flop.
Better Man
Apparently it's
flopped hard.
good
I wonder
though.
why.
Apparently it's good. I'm gonna see it one day. I'm not going to the theater for that though.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably fine, but I just think it's funny that they tried so hard to market that to an audience that just has no idea who this fucker is.
Yeah, really. I mean, I I've never heard a Robbie Williams song ever in my life. Like
Yeah, not before this
I feel like
started.
that's crazy. I still haven't.
Monkey.
I'm telling you, like I literally still haven't. I
I've
still
just heard
haven't.
the one
I've
that's
seen the
like,
trailer, but I don't
yeah.
even know. Do they even play? I maybe I listened to it with the sound off. I don't know. I
There
feel
was
like
one
I've
that was
never heard
going
a song.
around like the social media
Oh,
apps.
okay. I
It's
don't
and
think I
from
heard
what
that.
I've heard, I'm not impressed.
I could not tell you what kind of music he makes.
So is he dead?
No, he's
No,
very much alive.
George Michael's dead.
He kind of looks, I love gay people, but he looks like a lesbian a little bit.
All right,
You
Always
don't
love when a
you don't
sentence
see
starts
that?
with "I love
That's
gay
all
people,"
English
but
people.
You
I
don't
feel
you don't
like
see it though? Cuz he's kind of got that
I
like that
don't know what he
quaff,
looks like.
that like
Again,
I
he just looks like
implore
a British dude
you
to me.
to take a in some pictures he doesn't, but in some where he's like really thin, he does.
Just looks like a British guy to me.
I
I don't know.
implore you, please. Just so you can get there's one where
There's,
he has like just no hair, but this like big side pompadour.
do we have
Anyway, monkey.
any final thoughts on Fear and
um,
Loathing?
Hmm.
I guess just I'll make a case for just like give it. I'll just say, just give the movie a chance. Give it a
Just
chance.
give it
Give
a
it a fair
chance.
chance, please, because I don't know, man. Kind of, I was trying to say earlier, like even if like I don't like the movie, I will always like admire a movie for being like kind of a singular experience or specific or like have its own like feel very unique. Like
Yeah,
there's so much there's so many movies that are like even good movies that are kind of retreading other things or feel similar. You know, it's like it's and good or bad. Like there's so many movies like that. So when a movie like this comes along, it's like,
special.
especially this one, it just like so like felt like it was like made for me almost. Like I just yeah, I fucking love the movie, dude. I just love it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you watch it, you'll be entertained, even if you don't like it.
Right.
That's what I was.
I think that's a strength too. Like even though you didn't like it, I think you recognize that like it is a well-made movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And at least it does the um from like the most basic aspect, like it does enough key jangling to keep you there from the start to the end.
It's a
You
good way
know,
to say
like
it.
at the very
that's
least, like
perfect.
a
That's
movie.
perfect.
If a movie could do that, that's enough. You know, in a lot of ways, because like ultimately, when you sit down to watch a movie, even if you're not like intellectually stimulated or whatever the fuck, you know, you when you sit down, you just want to like be entertained for fucking 2 hours or whatever. And I think for the most part, even if it's not your thing, like this movie is wacky enough to be entertaining to anybody.
Would you say you find our conversation stimulating?
I would. That's why I'm here. That's why I do it. I do it for the love of the game, baby.
Took Robbie a second.
I love when he wears the reptile tail around in the big boots. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, man. He's walking around just like this is the way he's stepping is so fucking great.
I like when he pegged what was it, the melon at his nuts.
Oh yeah, in the bathtub, or no, at his head.
Was it
He was
his
in the
head? I thought
he was in the tub, and he's like, "You have to throw the radio in the tub with
Really,
me."
this was the orange.
white rabbit.
Exit his head.
That's a fucking
I
great
love it.
scene.
I love it.
Fucking right when the song hits its peak, man. I want you to kill me.
I regretted suggesting this movie so much because I knew in my heart I was like, "There's no way. This is too. These waters are too deep for a beginner swimmer like Jim." I felt like it was.
I drowned.
That's okay. Sometimes you got to throw
Sometimes
him
you
into
gotta
it.
drown. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So
All of my picks for our next movie are aimed at that thing.
Because
Like
realistically, if I didn't see this movie at the time I did, I probably would have hated it too. You know, or at least disliked it. Like there is a version of me that doesn't like this movie.
is it time
Evil
for
Robbie.
the wheel where we pick our next movie?
Sure.
All right. This is going to be. Do we? How do you want to do this?
What do you mean?
Do we like? Do you just Christian? Do you have a bunch of movies that you want to throw in the wheel and then we'll pick, or do we remove Fear and Loathing and go with the other picks? Or
Oh no, I think we should do all fresh picks every time.
okay.
Like
Fresh
I
pick.
think
I'm gonna
each
recycle
week
some picks, but
brings.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
yeah. If you want to recycle, that's fine. But I just feel like each week brings a new vibe.
A new vibe.
So
What's our?
I
What
agree.
is our? What would you say our vibe is today? Hold on. Let
We
me
don't
pull
know.
up the wheel. It's
yeah, we
funny
don't know
because last time we did this, I have the choices, as they
What?
say. I have the choices from the last wheel spin that we did.
Okay.
Okay.
So, does anybody want to?
Well, what are they?
I don't care
I
about it.
kind of forget because I only started putting short ones. So there's one just called Apes. There's one Arrival, Fear and Loathing can get removed. Few dollars, Peanut Butter, which I'm assuming is Peanut Butter Falcon, Scarface, The Whale, Vampire, and Yo Jimbo.
Okay.
So, does anybody want to keep those choices?
I'm doing new ones.
I'm gonna do some new ones too.
I will delete all the choices. If you are currently, while you guys are doing that, while we're uploading these names, if you want to sub to the channel here, the Real Pod Network on YouTube, like it, make sure to comment some only nice things, or if you want to check us out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Anybody want to throw me their first pick?
Oh, well, also follow me on Letterboxd.
Yes, true.
Rob Brett at Rob Brett, ROBBRETT.
Mm-hmm.
Or on Twitter at Robbie Brett, ROBBIEBRETT. Either one. And yeah, go ahead.
You can follow me on Letterbox at skip_Sparky.
Mm.
I can pick first or whoever.
Yeah,
Doesn't
just
Go
matter.
ahead.
give me a
You got
name.
some.
So the rule is 3. Everybody gets 3 movies, and then throw it in the wheel, and we watch whatever it picks.
I guess it depends when we're doing this, but if we're basing it off how the trend, it's going to be in a couple weeks or something. So, low key, Black History Month's coming up. I'm going to pick 3 relevant to that.
Very
Doesn't matter if
progressive.
I'm picked or not, but my 3 will be Do the Right Thing, Glory, and Judas and the Black Messiah.
Glory, Judas, and the Black Messiah. I spelled the Messiah wrong, but all right, hit me with it.
All right. For my first pick, I'm going to pick Being John Malkovich.
That's a good one.
Okay.
I know. I hope it gets picked. Like, I'm so fucking ready to watch Being John Malkovich with Jimmy. For my second pick, I'm going to go with What About Bob?
It seems like a theme for these.
That is interesting. I have thoughts on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
These are all good so far. These are all good suggestions.
I think it's okay to throw in a comedy every now and then. You know.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm definitely okay with that.
Actually, I did 2 comedies. Let me see. For my third, I'm going to pick Shadow of a Vampire, which I think I picked last time. But
so you lied.
No, I recycled.
Okay. Well, my first choice is going to be Interstellar.
Ah, shit! I forgot Jimmy could pick.
My next choice is going to
I love that
be
movie.
Elysium.
Okay.
Oh my.
Okay.
And my final choice is going to be Boys and the Hood.
Oh, dude, Jimmy, that's crazy. Because I actually was going to suggest that and I forgot, dude. Oh my god, that's crazy.
There's not a single one of these movies I'm going to be upset if they get picked.
There's one very prominent one that is. I will fucking be so mad.
I wonder which one.
All right.
But
We
that's
are
part of the
going to be spinning in 3, 2, 1. And oh! It was going to be Interstellar. But then at the very last second, Elysium! Give it up for
You're
Elysium!
lying. You're fucking lying to me right now, bro.
I swear to God,
You're not being serious. You're not being serious. I'm in my boxers, bro. Oh my god, I'm putting pants on. Hold on.
Did it again.
This is very interesting.
I don't believe them.
My
You
hands
can't
are-
manipulate that, can you?
No, my hands are off the keyboard, and it's recording, so you could see.
All right, I'm gonna use my one respin token.
Do we get a respin token?
No, I mean no.
Listen,
no.
listen.
He did our movies. We should do his.
I think that this
I've never
adds a new
seen it.
dynamic
I've
to
never
the
seen it.
podcast. If we all get a respin once every, let's see, let's do 5 episodes. What episode are we at?
That's going to be hard to keep track of, bro. You couldn't even remember the name of this podcast earlier.
Hold on. I think
This is episode 4 or 5.
If it's 4, then give me one whole second. Uno segundo. 1. Oh, that's my search history. Whoops. Where's my video? There. 1, 2, 3. Wow, this is only our third. Yeah, we're only on our 3rd episode.
What? That's not right, is it?
We did Heat.
No, we did
Dirty Harry, and then we did a horror movie podcast. What else did we do?
This is our 4th then.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
So
our turnaround time is not good on these.
So listen, I'm
Actually,
opening.
It's not bad.
I'm
all of our fans that are dying for our next episode.
Yeah. All me and Abner.
Listen, our episode of Heat got 25 views on YouTube. Yeah.
Good thing I watched it 25 times.
So, we got 1 comment on it. Oh, it's talking about
It
Adam.
was me, probably. Oh,
Um. So listen. For the love of the game, I'm open to respin tokens. If you,
it's up to you. I'm okay with whatever.
I think
I feel
they.
like part of the fun is just doing.
Oh yeah, like
Part of the
I
fun
wasn't
is
that serious,
I
Jimmy.
think.
Like,
yeah,
I think
but I'm
that
okay with it if we want to do it.
Elysium will get picked again. So I think that's going to be ultimately more funnier.
I don't think it's going to get picked again because that math is not on your
Do you want to
side.
walk back in as I click the spinning thing again?
I
put
took
money
my
on that.
pants off.
Very fast. All right, so we're gonna be spinning one more time. I'll use
Elysium
it
gets picked again.
if you're not brave enough to use your respin token for
Oh, so
Elysium.
now
I will spin. How about that?
so now I'm a pussy. All right, no, now you got.
Now
All right,
I'm
here
a
we
pussy
go.
for wanting to watch the movie you suggested.
3,
Wow.
2, 1. No way. No way. Give it up to Glory. Give it up to Glory.
I feel like you've muddied the waters. I feel like this is a tainted system. I don't feel like this is a proper. I don't feel like this is a proper way to do this.
What is Glory?
It's a Civil War movie.
All right.
Really? Wait. Did you
It's
pick
good.
this as part of your Black History Month?
Yeah. Good ass movie, bro. I'm telling
We're not
you.
gonna upload it till like March.
Yeah, we'll see you guys
Who
late
knows?
April. Um, just kidding. Anybody have any final thoughts before we go?
What movie are we watching?
Glory.
Let's do both. Let's do a double
Actually,
feature.
Oh,
I'll do it. I'll do
what a
it.
crazy double feature! No, you know what?
Yeah.
Robbie wins. That's
Let's do it.
perfect.
There you go.
Fucking double feature, baby.
Pick it up.
I have no idea what Elysium is about, but that would be very interesting. It kind of looks future-y.
I
Or
hope.
is it actually about like some dude that has cancer?
What?
All right.
Never mind. So I saw the what do you call it? The title, the poster or whatever. I looked at it from afar and it looked like a bald dude with like tech on it, but it looks like this dude is a white supremacist. Is that Matt Damon?
Yeah.
Matt Damon as a white supremacist is not the movie.
I feel like I'm
thought
watching a trailer with my parents. All right. While we decide what the rules of this podcast actually are, and while Jimmy figures out what the fuck movie he picked,
Double
I hope
feature.
everybody.
It's a double
stand by that.
feature. No, it's a double feature.
I hope everybody has a fucking great day, night, whatever you're listening to this. We will see you next time.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.